the chaos, other than sort of like a nuanced part-time strategy that you can employ
Yep.
once or twice a game or something like that. It's really interesting. Yeah.
That criticism totally makes sense, and I think you're hitting the
Okay.
nail kind of on the head there.
Okay.
Yeah, the incentives may be there if you
Mhm.
think like 3 levels deep, and
Right.
then you can kind of come up with a strategy, but it's not obvious to first-time players.
You know what? Okay, so there's an interesting metaphor. I'm curious if you guys agree. It's like the tributaries are there, but the river has not materialized yet. So you've
Okay.
got all these little tiny creeks and things feeding into something, but that the core something that would make this drafting phase interesting, it would make the information reveal super clean and crisp. It hasn't materialized yet, despite you having like the source that you need. For some reason, it's not coalescing into like this really powerful drive to, um, like if you think about, have you guys played Great Western Trail or something
I
like
have
that?
not. I actually have not played that game.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another game, but like, so like in Great Western Trail, anytime, like if you work your way up the board and you have to turn in your cards, and no matter what, you're going to get paid for what's in your hand. And if you have a pair of something, those negate each other and you don't get paid. So the game gives you like this really clear objective of like get rid of any pairs in my hand that I can, otherwise I'm going to get paid less money for my cows. So it gives you like this really clear like emotional struggle that you go through for the
Hmm.
entire time. And I feel like you don't have an emotional struggle in your
Yeah.
draft phase. And I think that that's maybe what's lacking is like, I don't, what's interesting is that, okay, so like if I drew three more cards here, I'm not agonizing over, like, okay, so I think a really good indicator is like, you'll know when you've hit a really good draft phase feeling when you're begging to draw a certain card off the top, or
Yeah.
you're begging to get rid of one and show it, or I don't know, something like that. I think that'll be like a really strong tell that like, okay, now we've hit
Just
what we
okay.
really want.
What if, and this, I would just off the top of my head, we
Sure.
experimented
Yeah.
with something like this a little while, or like earlier in playtesting, and then abandoned it when the game changed form a million times. But
Sure. Yeah. That's how
um,
it goes, right? Yeah.
yeah. But what if every player, like at the beginning of the round, drew a card that just had one resource or one noble on it, and that was like your target for the game? Like you have to win that noble. You can, and then you can win whatever other points you want, but like if you don't win that noble, it's like minus 10 points or some like big detraction.
Jeez.
Like that's a huge incentive for, like, that gives you, and you can win that noble anyway. You can bluff to win it or whatever, but you have to win that one.
I do like the idea of having to win one.
I don't,
So
that's just off the top of my head, so poke a hundred
yeah,
million holes in it, but it's
I want to think more about that because it was similar to something like I was having a bad idea in my head, but it was like a different look at it. Sometimes I just like to write down all my bad ideas too,
Mhm.
Oh,
because sometimes
absolutely.
they're distant enough from like your current thinking to where like it can give you some, eventually can lead to a new good idea. But like a bad idea that I have is like you give everybody two nobles and those are their nobles and like they get extra points for winning those nobles over other people. Like that's a bad
Oh
idea
shit.
to me because I think it also trivializes this draft because imagine like my two nobles are the pearls and the lizards. Well, now I've created an incentive where all I'm looking for is exactly this
There you
card.
go.
There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
right. And like so that's a bad idea because the incentives are way too clear. But I don't know, something like that was an idea that just struck me as kind of similar to what you were saying. It's different obviously, but um there's such just something very interesting about putting down a card to bid that I would love to like explore at some point.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I just don't know how it'll work. But maybe, what would be really good for me is if we could play like another hand of just normal rules and I could get like one more kind
Sure.
of
Yeah.
look at
Totally.
Yeah, let's go
how that
for it.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, all this brainstorming is great though. I love like this whole.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
glad
not.
because No, my brain just goes on tangents constantly. So I'm sorry.
No, I
But,
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
okay, great. I'm glad we're in
I'm not
agreement on that.
I'm not
Okay,
upset about it at all. Kill my
great.
baby. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no. Honestly, though, like it warms my heart to see someone else so invested in our game. Like it's so cool. This is like the
Me
first
too. I mean,
interaction that we've had where somebody that we don't know, just I posted on
mhm.
BGG and you did as well, and it's
Right.
we had two other people who had responded to me and went through a rule book, like that guy Zach who had that storytime game, and there were some other people too. But no, this is what like I live for, and I don't speak to Sam, but these are the interactions where I like to share my ideas and my like games. Obviously our medium here is games, but
Right.
just
Right.
to share my ideas and then have other people be interested in it is just so cool to me.
It's like so invaluable, right? Like I feel like, especially like for my game too, like I feel like I'm at a spot where I'm kind of exhausted in terms of what my brain can do for my game. I feel like I need, you know, something that I'm always grateful for is like even just throw bad ideas at me. Just even if we all know they're bad, just get them out there. Give me a new way of looking at my game. Like I have these like two persistent problems in my game that have just plagued me from the start. And it's like I feel like those two problems, if I can solve them, I'm ready to pitch to publishers. Like I'm pretty close. And so I like it's so important that you just get somebody else's brain in the process because like your brain is just it has its limits and it's not going to be able to think
Right.
in specific areas. And so like I don't know, like so I would love to here's what I think. I don't know if you guys are up for this, but I would love to
I'm up
play
for
around.
it.
Okay. Great. I would love to play like a round in the normal rules, and then I would love to play just one more round of like, I don't know, if we could agree on some sort of like spitball rule or something like that, where whatever you guys want to test from what we've talked about, and just like see the game from a different perspective. And maybe it'll become clear that like, this is the wrong direction, or like, what's really interesting too is like sometimes when you go off on these tangents, you recognize that, oh no, this is actually really clearly like I'm walking further away from my goal.
Mhm.
So it's
Right.
like very clear that like,
Well,
okay, I
yeah,
was on the right track.
it's so funny how like I mean when we were first brainstorming game ideas and even when we were modifying like the ones that we were like when we were modifying this game, I'd come up with like a big change to it and I'd be like, "Oh, this is so much better." And then we'd play it and it's like, "This is so terrible." It's
Right,
just like
right.
you don't know until you actually like try it. And it's so funny how you can be so off with what you think people
Hmm.
are going to do and what you think even you yourself are going to do when you actually
Hmm.
are like in the situation.
Yeah, it's so true because like I can't tell you how many times I've thought like that's it. I've solved it, and then I
Yeah.
make all my stuff and then I tested it and it's like clear after even just a single turn, like, nope, I'm actually further away, way further away than I was
Yeah.
before. Like, like, yeah, it's just so that's like the challenge of game design, I guess. I don't know. So I think I'm discarding here. Is that true? I'm supposed to be
Yep.
Yeah.
discarding.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
you drew. Yep, you are.
All right. Right.
Okay. What do I got here? Of course, it wants to act like that. So you said you did two other games that you were kind of heavily invested in, Greg. You said you three. I thought you said right. That you.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm still like pretty happy with my other two. They're just I I don't know. I'm just like a perfectionist to my core, and I just see the problems with my other games, and it makes me want to just like I can't solve it. I don't know. So, and I'm so excited to do these other designs. I just move on. But this last
Yeah.
one I've stuck with for about a year, and so I'm got like a lot of
Oh, nice.
like what's interesting is that like with each design I learn just a ton, right? Like
Yeah.
when you fail, you learn so much.
Um, they all solo projects. You just think of them on your
Yeah,
own. Nice.
they
Nice.
are. I would love like I feel like I do need like a partner or something to keep me more grounded
That's
because
what's
I will.
so it's so great about what Brent and I are doing. Like because one of us will come with we're both like Brent's working on a game idea too that we like playtest, and it's not
Oh,
quite to this stage of development yet, but
yeah.
we just like, well, yeah, but it's gone back to the drawing board a few times, but we just spitball ideas and then like we playtest them, and we're like not afraid to just like, well, that's a crappy idea or whatever. Like
Yeah, it's so
it's
important.
yeah,
Like,
it's
and
just so
also
good. So.
a partner can keep you motivated. You have deadlines, but they can also sort of carry you through those moments of like, I'm stuck, and I have to sit here because I just don't have any ideas, where they can kind of carry you through and keep the game going forward. I don't know how you guys do it, but like typically I'll encounter a problem and it just seems totally unsolvable to me. And so I have to like kind of put things down for like a week or so. And usually at the end of like a week or two, I'll have like at least some candidate solutions that I can try. But it's just like a process of time for me.
Well,
I've got to let it.
most times for me, it's like if I try to think about a solution or I try to think about my games, it doesn't come to me.
Mhm.
But it'll come to me in the most random, the shower thoughts, right? It's like the most
Right, the shower.
random.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sitting at work, I'm in the middle of a project, and it just flips on. I'm like, oh wait, I gotta take 5 minutes
Yeah.
to go through this right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Write it down. Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll watch like YouTube videos of just people explaining board games or something, like a playthrough. And like a mechanic in one game that they're talking about will be like, oh, what if I modified that in this way? And like, sometimes that can help me out too and get me going.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it my turn again?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
your
doing a
turn.
very good
Yeah,
job of
it's your
keeping
turn.
No,
notes.
it's
No
fine.
worries.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
we're
worries.
all pausing. I feel like every turn
Okay.
is taken.
Good. All right. I would love to ask you guys about my handy, and I'm just not sure here.
I've gotten. I'll say we can go through it at the end of this round. I'll say I've been happy with how my hand has developed.
Okay, I like that a lot. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
been. I'm going to say it's mostly luck, honestly,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
but we could talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of like my hand. I mean, I've got more reasons for my hand than I ever had before, so I kind of like that.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of.
And then you're done, actually, right? You're Greg.
Yeah,
That's your hand. Okay.
I do think so, right?
Yeah.
Because you end up with
I have
six.
one more turn, but that you were
Okay.
first. So.
Okay. Yeah. Good. That makes sense. All right.
Oh, and then I guess that's a little card counting thing you could do, but so we know the contents of the deck. I don't know if you probably don't know it, Greg, but
No, I don't.
every combination of every card shows
Uh-huh.
up once, I think. Oh, well, twice actually.
Okay.
So the wool will be on top with the pajamas once, the pajamas will be on top with the wool once, and then every combination other than that.
Okay.
And then
Interesting.
the doubles show up 2 times. So this combination exists 4 times in the deck. One on top, 2 with one on top, 2 with the other on the bottom, whatever.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
and then this combination exists 2 times. So just like the teacups showed up 2 times now, have been discarded. There are no more double teacups in the deck. That's why
Right.
I'm bringing it up. But it's not necessary information to know.
You're right though. Like in some niche scenarios, it may come in handy. Like if someone gets caught bluffing or something like
Yeah,
that,
I
it could
wouldn't
come in
want to
handy.
like call that out in the rules or anything, but
Yeah, I think you're right. Leave that too.
There's enough resources in the deck where, yeah, counting
we didn't
cards is
want
like,
card counting to really be a thing.
yeah, right.
Yeah. And I think you have enough cards for it to be very hard. It'd be very cringe to do that though, I think too.
It would be.
Just very cringy behavior. I don't.
Okay, let me think.
So okay, so I placed the first bid, right?
I'm discarding still, but yeah, you
Yeah.
would place the first bid.
Yeah. And it's the monkey.
Oh, no more double wools either.
Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
Hmm.
Guess so.
I feel like I made quite a few mistakes last time in how I bid. I'm curious. I'm just gonna try a different approach.
Okay,
Okay.
starting out with the monkey. And see,
Mhm.
and this is, you asked at one point in your video, it wasn't a major point, but you
Mhm.
asked why do we have 3 rounds in a 3-player game?
Yes, yes.
It's just for the first player, so that everyone's good as first player one time. Because I think it is
Oh,
an
okay.
advantage for the pacing of the auction phase.
I think it is. I think it's a small enough advantage where you can make the call, like if you want 3 rounds or 4 rounds. It's up
Yeah.
to you. But okay, I understand better now. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
So you did 2 there.
Yeah.
Do I'll do a couple of music.
Hmm. Okay. Two teacups.
Brent's just being silent this round. That's the approach he's taken.
Sure. That's what you want to call it. Yeah. I mean, it's probably best odds of success, is it not?
That's
Yeah,
true.
it
Yeah.
probably is. It probably, the meta will
Mhm.
be just a silent game where everyone's
Yeah.
tracing everything down.
Have you guys ever played Mafia or Wolf or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, like we in our group we used to enforce like, okay, if you're not saying anything, you're just gonna be on the lynch block, right? Like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you're the one that's
Yeah.
gonna be
If you plead
hung
the
next if you
fifth,
don't
you're
start.
gone.
Yeah, if you don't start talking, you don't start giving us some information, you're gone.
Yeah,
You know, so it's very
yeah,
funny.
that's good. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do this.
Okay. Wow, with the 4 wool
Yeah.
out.
Interesting. Interesting. That would be 7. That's fine. I'm fine
Do
with
you
that.
still, Greg, do you
Fine with
still
that.
feel like it's a lot of information, these cards out here? Like,
Um,
I know that was one of your main complaints, and I'm
yeah,
fetch phase beside the point, but like just in the auction phase, do you feel like this is too much information? What people have?
yeah, let's put the fetch phase aside. I agree. Um, it's a lot of information, but I'm not finding it cumbersome to parse, like I thought I would. Um, I'm wondering, I'm still thinking it's just not enough or not clear enough what you get from it. I'm not sure. I would need to think more on that. I don't want to speak too strongly in any one direction.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, and that's
I,
totally like if you don't
yeah,
have strong feelings, that's fine. You just in your video sounded like you had strong feelings at that time, which I
yeah,
understand that's probably changed, but
yeah. I would say that I've mellowed a bit on that. I would say that, what's interesting is that like kind of how I work is I have like an intuition that something is not quite right or quite where I want it. And I call it like, this is suspicious to me or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm getting a very strong sussy vibe from this in terms of it not being like as good as it could be, and is kind of what I'm getting. Um, but like in terms of like giving you like a concrete replacement, I really can't do it right now.
Oh, sure. And that's not what I
Yeah,
was asking for, but
right,
yeah. Yep.
right. But I will just say that I've got a vibe here that this is not as good as it could be, not as sharp as it could be, not as like telling it maybe as it could be. I'm not sure. I'd have to think more on it, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I have mellowed my position in terms of like, oh, I think it's just way too much. I don't think it's way too much. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty like if you care about any specific, if you're like, oh, you just placed 2 on teacups, is that reasonable? It's pretty like immediately obvious. Well, you have 2 here. Okay, yeah,
mhm,
you could probably still have 2 in your hand. Like
mhm.
you can tell pretty quickly exactly what they discarded. You're not typically trying to parse like the whole and understand the like entirety of it really. You're just trying to like notice a specific resource.
Right.
which is easier to parse than trying to understand like the scope of the discards.
Yeah, the cards are well designed too, where they're very easy to scan for what you want. So that really helps too. Okay, I'm gonna. Is it
Is it
my
my
turn?
turn? I
I'm
think
not sure it is.
Yeah,
it's
and
my
I
turn.
know I've been
Yeah.
silent, but I put 3 down here.
Okay.
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 Brent's
Yeah.
just been sitting in the tank. Um,
Okay.
okay. I'll
I mean, I'm
go
down 6 right now.
do 3 pearls. Brent's down 6, so yeah, I guess. Well, don't even look at Greg's score.
Yeah. Don't. Nobody
That
look
first
over
round's kind
here.
of a wash though, because you
Yeah.
didn't really.
You know, I play tested with 2 of my coworkers, and um, I think we did 3 rounds, and one of them ended up with 1 point. No, no, no. Oh, I might be thinking of Bob Sam, where he had 1 point for the entire game.
Oh, Bob, yeah, we.
Oh man, poor Bob. What was he
I
doing?
know. He was. It's not. He was making some misplays for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He kind of deserved it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, he was calling out bluffs when there was no right for him to call out bluffs, and it was,
Right, right.
Have you? So I wonder, like, have you tested
Sneaky,
that where,
sneaky Greg.
like, yeah. Oh, you think that's sneaky, huh?
I just
I
trying to talk over it. No, I'm kidding.
mm, I have you tested like have you had anybody who's like just intent on calling bluffs on people? Um,
um, I mean, yeah. Well, we had the play test we did with Bob actually was pretty interesting because we had another one of our friends, Connor, who like
mhm.
actually plays poker almost professional. Like he plays a lot of poker with
Oh,
a lot of like really high level players.
oh my God,
Um,
yes.
so he's really was like into it and like trying to figure out the odds of you having a certain amount of everything. So he was a very good person to play test with, and he was
Yes.
right before Bob. So I felt like Bob a lot of the time was trying to call Connor out, and Connor was like
Oh,
outplaying Bob every which way.
oh
So
my God,
it was
poor
not
Bob.
the best matchup for Bob, but
Yeah, he couldn't catch a break. No.
yeah, but so we had a little bit of that, I guess, what you're asking about, but
Can you
um
remind me what the rule is? For some reason, it's just not sticking with me. Like, so if I call someone, if I say you're bluffing, but I'm wrong about it, what happens to me?
you have to reveal cards.
Okay, 3 cards.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 cards.
Okay.
I'm
And
putting
if I'm
one.
just like a,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
if I'm a safe player, let's say I never bluff, but I am just constant. Let's say I don't care if my whole hand is revealed.
Yep.
I wonder, like,
Well, so if your whole hand is revealed, you are forced to pass on every one of your turns. You can't call out
okay,
bluffs.
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
so
Once your hand is revealed, you're basically out of the auction phase.
okay,
Your hand is revealed. You still have chips on the board based on whatever you had in your hand, but yeah, you aren't really playing anymore in the phase.
I see. Because you have the rule of like you have to assign chips right to your,
Yeah, so just for like if this was your hand, right, and
mhm.
you revealed it, you
Yeah,
would have to because you have 4 wool, you'd put 4 on wool. I'm
okay,
missing it right now. You add 1 there, you'd keep those there. You'd add 2 here. You'd remove 2 from the monkey. Like so, you'd add and remove so that your bids match this exactly. Um, and then you're just done. So then other players are forced to play around the bids that that you have, and you could still win some if other players don't have. If like legitimately you have 6
right,
teacups, and
right.
other players are like, well, he has that. There's no way I can argue that I can bluff over that. So he'll win that, but you'll just get 1 point for that. Um, so
So there
I
is
mean,
some,
it's not you're
there's,
not like totally out of the game. Like, oh, that sucks. I lost all points for that round, but
yeah,
it's typically not advantageous to get out. I feel like.
I think you're right. I think it's a very steep cost. So essentially you're saying, you can get one bluff wrong, but not two.
Right.
Yeah, in a 2 player game, you can get 3 or 2 wrong, but not 3 because you have 7 cards, and that was by design.
Okay,
But in
that's
a
smart.
3 and 4, there should be more opportunity for bluffs because there's more players or calling bluffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Um,
Yeah.
right. But if you get your second bluff wrong, your whole hand is down. And I'm curious, like, yeah, I'm gonna think on it more. But I think you're right. I think it is quite a steep cost, which is good.
I'm putting 1 on the Swan Song.
So he just
Okay.
added to that, even though he was already winning. Ugh.
Interesting.
Okay. 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 Okay, I'm going 3 snake oil.
Interesting.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. I'm going to. I'm gonna pass.
Okay. Okay. Jeez.
And the other thing is now you could kind of force Brent to call a bluff on somebody here. Like it's
Yeah.
because if he, I mean, yeah, passing can be strategic at times for sure.
I felt it was pretty strategic there. Like I didn't want to give any more information. Please.
Yeah, and that tempo management, and then
Right.
forcing other
I
players
feel like
to take action. And
yeah, I feel like what's interesting is now tempo is less important now that all the cards have been claimed. I
Right,
feel like.
exactly. Yeah. Now you're trying to slow down and force other people to take turns. But
Right,
you
right.
run the risk of passing. You run the risk of the round ending when you don't want it to end. But in this case, I'm sure it's not going to end. It already didn't end because I made a turn, so it's going to come back to you. So it was that
Right.
was a very good pass on your turn.
Okay, good. It felt like a good pass to me, but I wasn't exactly sure.
Yeah, it kind of feels like maybe, and not all of the time, but maybe a lot of the time, if you know that other players are going to take action, it might be, and there's chips on everything, like you've played some chips, it might be worth it to pass.
Okay, that was the sense I got. Like I'm just gonna get more information by the time I have to play again. It's kind of how I felt. That was kind of like my thinking.
Yeah, that being said, I think I will pass. Yeah, he outbid you on the monkey.
On the monkey business.
Yeah, I am really tempted to call this.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm wondering, you know what's interesting too is okay, so like if you have 3 cards that you feel like if you play in accord with 3 of your cards, it seems like you'd be very comfortable
Right.
calling
Yep.
a bid because you
yep.
really, if you do that, you don't lose anything. I mean, you lose a little bit, right, in terms of the
it's
revealed
revealed that you're not bluffing on those, but yeah, that's minimal revealed. Yeah,
and then also you're just expending one of your calls, right? Because now you only hit you can't get any more wrong, or you're going to be out.
But it does still give you information because you know they're truthful on whatever one you call.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really cool consequence of how you guys have done the rules too. I like that a lot. I think that the card system where there's one on top, one on bottom. See, that's a very big consequence of the way you laid out the cards there. That you can even do that. That you can play safer if you want to, and you can draft that way too. So that's like a huge plus. It speaks in favor of your draft phase. That kind of a strategic play, which is cool. I really want to call this. I don't know. I'm trying to consider how much that's going to hurt me if I'm wrong.
Well, it could hurt you. Well, yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Based on, I'll say though, based on your reaction to this, I'm guessing that you're not bluffing on the monkey. But you don't have to tell me that, obviously.
Yeah.
But just because, whatever, you can go.
There's an interesting thing too, where okay, I'm gonna call it, and if I'm wrong, I'm happy with that because then I can kind of talk about my cards too. So I'm gonna call this a bluff.
You are wrong.
No,
you're wrong.
Okay,
so you saved that. So that was definitely strategic for Brent to save this for much later because this is such a high value one.
It felt suspicious. It felt more real that because he saved it, because he was playing it in such a suspicious way. I thought okay,
because he was totally silent for the whole time.
Yeah. But also just throwing it on the doubler card at the end, casually like that, it does feel like he that's always going to look suspicious. So it feels like,
Right.
okay, it might be more real. But okay, so here's my thinking. Like I can do this, and that doesn't hurt me. It shows this,
Right.
so I haven't
Right.
lost anything there.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have this card too, and I was too late on the pearls to make use of that. So I feel like um, that one doesn't hurt me either.
Well,
And in
I
fact, like
feel like that.
I feel like
Yeah,
yeah.
that does
Sorry.
hurt you though, because you don't have any chips on the pearls.
that's true. But in a way, it might even help. Like, what if I did? Okay, I'm not actually going to do this, but what if I did this like next? Like, have I bought myself a little credit by
Well,
showing?
you'd have to do 4 on it. But
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
you do buy yourself a little credit there for sure. It could
Yeah,
be strategic for the future if you're planning on
yeah,
bidding on pearls.
right,
But if you're not, then we know that this is just a dead card at
Right.
this point
Right.
for you, and
right.
we
Mhm.
can
Okay, so it does
subtract
limit.
it from everything.
Like either
Yes,
way, if you
right,
use it as a credit for later, we know at this point in time that that information is out there, and you don't have any chips there,
right,
right? So it's
right.
essentially like you're playing two chips on that card.
That's true. That's true. Okay,
We'll forget that.
yeah, I'm gonna try to show you. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this optimally. I think that like this one,
Yes, that is definitely optimal for yeah.
yeah. And then the interesting one to me was similar to what I was trying to do with the pearls. I feel like was this one here, where I
Yeah.
sort of I bolster my position here,
Hmm.
and then I also like get some credit here as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that I
I
think
think
is
that's
way
very good.
better. I think that's way
Yeah.
better.
Okay. Okay. I understand that more now. Okay.
Mhm.
That's very interesting. All right.
And
I
you're
like
still
that.
and you're not revealing. It's interesting because you're still not revealing that you have all of it. On the monkey you revealed, yeah, I've got everything here, at
Mhm.
least. But on these two, you didn't reveal 3 wool and or 2 teacups. So there's still a chance that you're like baiting out a call on these, or you're just or because you could obviously still have them in your hand. Um,
Right.
so that's yeah. No, I think this is a very good
Okay.
reveal.
That's what, okay. So I just wanted your guys' opinion. Like, I feel almost like I've strengthened my position a little bit here. I'm not sure if I have. I might have weakened it. I'm just
I think you're
not
in a
clear.
pretty. I don't honestly think you were ever in a very dangerous position.
Yeah. I think
Um,
maybe
I
the
do
more
think you're
conservative you play.
maybe you're a little stronger now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think like the more
I
conservative
don't
you
think that
play.
revealing cards ever makes you stronger. I don't know if I'd agree with that.
Well, it depends on what you're how you're gauging the strength because I think we're less likely to call him on a bluff now than we were before
That's how I feel too.
But how so?
because we know he had 3 monkeys. We know he has at least 2 wool.
So
The
that
odds of him having a third one is pretty high.
right, so that
Um,
hurts him because he wants us to call him out on those so that we reveal cards.
well, unless he's bluffing on them. What do you mean?
I
But
think
he
I would
had these in his
rather.
card. Now we know he has. If he had this in his hand, we wouldn't know that, and we'd be more likely to call him out on these. And then if we were wrong, we would reveal cards.
That's a difference of opinion on what you're how you're gauging strength. You're gauging strength from a like offensive perspective, and Greg I think is gauging it from a defensive perspective.
I'm wanting to get away with bluffs, I think is kind of my priority.
Yeah, and you want him to. You're saying he wants you to call out his bluffs incorrectly, which
I don't think that revealing cards ever strengthens your position. I think that having all hidden information is the most optimal way to play.
That's probably true, right? I think I agree with that.
yeah. But since he's forced to reveal cards, yeah, I don't know. I
Right.
don't know.
There
There's
are
something.
optimal cards to play when you're forced to reveal, but I'm saying I don't think that
Yeah.
revealing is ever strengthening a position.
I'm just wondering, like, something, my intuition could be wrong here, and it probably is wrong, but I just think that, like, when I put the two cotton down, I feel like it's less likely that people are going to now call this.
I agree with that.
And if that means if this is a bluff, then that's like, I'm getting credit for some points for doing that, for getting my bluff wrong.
Yeah, people are less likely to call that for a couple reasons.
Uh,
Um, maybe we still think you're bluffing on it, probably, but the we know you're not bluffing by a lot. So we know like the maximum extra points you're going to get is 1 extra point here.
Okay, that's true.
Um,
That's a good
so
point.
Right.
yeah, like you revealed that, and now you're a bit less of a threat to the other people. Um, because
Maybe maybe that's what I'm picking up on. Like, at the very least that my upside on this bluff is very low.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like
it's
I
a
have
much more conservative bluff if it's a bluff.
right, right. Okay. I agree with that. So I have okay. No, that makes a lot of sense actually. Okay. That was really good to see. I'm glad that I actually got that bluff wrong because this is interesting to think about here.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
focus.
I'm gonna play mind games again and go one more on coins.
Oh my God. Wow. Didn't you make the same play last time where you
Yeah,
added
he
one?
did. He
Yeah.
did. But
Oh man,
now,
he's
so
really
now
rubbing
it's
it
like,
in.
what's it? It's got 5? No, no way. Knowing my hand, I'm calling that out, Brent. No way.
You're wrong.
Dang.
No.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Show 'em
Wow,
up.
that's
Show 'em
actually
up.
that's actually crazy. Okay.
Wow.
Um all right, now I gotta analyze what I've got out here. Um I'll reveal. Jeez, I don't have a lot of great cards to reveal, honestly. Um, I'll throw this one down, and I'll throw this one down, and I
And
will throw this one down too. And then it's Greg's turn,
okay.
technically.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like I'm just very outmatched here.
I don't know.
Well, you
I
are
feel
playing
like
against the developers.
that's
Yeah,
that's
this
true.
I feel like I have no
Honestly,
ploys.
every time I feel like I have a handle on, like I was pretty certain about that one because I had one here, 4 here. It's like, come on,
Right.
you got 5 more. Just the odds of that
Yeah.
seemed unlikely, but
Yeah, it seems really unlikely, and that he would draft a hand intentionally with five. I guess it makes far more
it makes
sense to be
sense.
doing the monkey.
Yeah, yep. For that one, it
Yeah,
makes more sense.
mm,
But
that's more
But
but for
believable.
that
again,
many
but
to
again, not
appear,
really because all points are doubled on that, and if you're bluffing on it, then that's way more points, than just two.
it's not that big of a loss in this situation because he is not bluffing on it, so he's going to get 2 points for this instead of like 8 or
Four,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna pass. I'm really trying to think about what I can actually get away with here.
Oh, come on.
What? Seven?
There's just no.
Wait, wait,
See,
wait,
this
wait,
is a
wait, wait.
mind game.
This would be an elaborate show if he's actually counting
Well,
as
that if
like a
yeah,
decoy.
but then he's bluffing on something else,
Mhm.
like anything else. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 15 he's got out there.
Wow, he would have to have a really strange hand.
Yeah, I think I I will pass. I cannot call him out.
Okay. I'm wondering. I mean, he's lying somewhere, surely, right?
For sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
he is. He only has
yeah.
12 resources. He's got 15 points out.
Is this a Hail Mary to try to win?
It might be. What would he get for that? He'd get 6 points for this max.
I,
Um,
so like, okay, so we know he has five, right?
yeah, we know he has 5.
So then four on top of that if he's bluffing both of them, plus
I
two more for winning, so
I'm
six.
suspicious of this guy over here too.
Yeah, when he put the seven here, I was like, oh, this is probably not
Yeah,
true.
right. It makes that one more suspicious with Brent's
Yeah.
play style.
But at the same time, these twos are just sneaky enough. Like if you have no shirts or one shirt, two seems like a really good.
But he's not winning on those 2s.
Right. I'm just trying to see what I think is in his hand.
Yeah, you could call him out on him still, but
Yeah.
as far as
Hmm.
points gain, we're not concerned about those.
Yeah. But it is up to me to make a call here if I want to
It is.
catch him. I feel like he just wins if I don't catch a bluff here. Oh man, but I'm trying. So I'm also like, if I was just playing as a player, I think I would make my call more on intuition here, maybe. But I'm just trying to. I'm also like trying to study the board state and see if there's any like. I'm just trying to pick up on all of the possible evidence I could factor into my decision here that the game
Yeah,
is giving me.
it's tough. I don't think you're ever gonna have a like in this situation a 100% certain call, right?
Right.
It's just kind of
Right.
playing the odds.
hmm
Like I think it's really very unlikely. I would think that he has 7 coins, but
Right.
there's always that possibility, right?
Right.
So it's very tough to say. This is where if you had to reveal some information along the road, we'd know for
Mhm.
sure, obviously.
Right.
But then it would never have gotten to this point, so that's kind of moot.
Mm. And I feel like if I'm going to call a bluff, it makes more sense. Like, given if I think it's equally likely that he's bluffing on either the paper or the coins, I should call the coins, right? Because, well, number one, I'm on the coins. I stand
That's true. You stand to
to win.
benefit significantly from the coins.
Right.
But if you're, yeah, it's tough. You're in a
And if
tough
I'm,
position. I put
yeah,
you in a tough position.
yeah,
My
this is
path.
a, what's interesting too is you put me in a position to determine the winner, but not between myself and somebody else. I feel like I'm
That's
determining the winner between you
that's
two,
sort of
right?
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your
Okay,
favorite?
so
Who's your favorite, Greg?
I, I love you both equally, perfectly
You could
equally.
call me
Okay,
out for bluffing too.
Yeah, you
that's
could.
true.
Yeah, wait, why don't we talk about this? The past 2 rounds, all eyes been on me. He's the point leader here.
But Brent, you're such a showman or something in the way that you bid. It's always very bold. Like you just draw attention. I feel like it's intentional too. Like you want the attention. And like you want to trap me in doing this. I feel like okay, I'm just gonna do the piratey thing, but also the thing that helps me the most. I'm gonna call this, though I feel like I don't know. I don't feel good about it, but I am gonna call that as a bluff.
Yep, that is right. You score a point,
Okay.
and I will immediately
Wow.
bet 6 back on it.
Oh, okay.
Jeez. Jeez.
You do score a point, though, Greg, if you want to give
You score
yourself.
a
Oh,
point.
do I?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank,
for calling the bluffs correctly, you get
okay.
a point.
Okay.
So that's an unfortunate thing. So that's why you did 7, right, Brent? So that you could come back with 6 if you
We
got
could talk
called.
about it later.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
tricky.
glad I saw that interaction. I wonder like if you
Because
need to.
we used to have it that noble was out of the bidding for the rest of the round, but then we were like, well, that's kind of unfortunate because like Greg shouldn't get punished for Brent outbidding him and getting called on his bluff.
Right.
Um, but so then we just had he has to remove his chips. Um,
Uh-huh.
but then he can rebid. We were thinking like, well, he's not going to rebid over that amount. But this is kind of an interesting interaction where he may have purposely bid too high so that if he gets called, he can bid kind of in the middle. That's still above your amount.
Let me know if I'm thinking about this correctly. Um, he only risks giving me 1 point,
Yeah, I think that is too small of a risk.
right?
I think
So
you
it
should
seems,
get a bigger amount of points for that for sure.
yeah, what I'm thinking is that the way that the rules are structured is that he should always bid 7 at least. Because if he gets called
In that
out,
situation, you mean?
yeah,
Well, no,
because like it's
if
just,
you are, it, like Sam's the point leader. I don't want to give him more points. You know.
but you stand to gain 2.
No, the math you're thinking about, Greg, I think is
Uh,
accurate.
okay.
With this noble specifically, the doubler,
Uh, yeah,
yeah, I think you're right. In that situation, the optimal play for him would be to bid 7 because the
yeah,
penalty of getting called out is really very low, with you
yeah.
getting or me getting 1 point, um, and he's still gonna probably get if he's lying by 1, like 2 extra points there. Um, So
If
yeah,
he's,
my solution to that though would probably just be to raise the amount of points you get for calling a bluff correctly.
I almost think so. You could address it also if like you subtract a point from his score and give it to me, that's a
Oh,
higher
sure,
swing for him.
sure,
That's like a
yeah.
2 point swing for him, I think. Um, Another thing that I'm glad I saw this interaction because another thing that's very weird is it felt just intuitive to me that oh he wouldn't be able to come back on here because he's been
I know.
caught or whatever.
And typically
That was
that is kind of how it goes, but just because of the way he bid the last time, where he was so
yeah.
far over.
I'm
I
wondering.
know that's interesting. I don't love that he was just able to do that, honestly, from a rules perspective. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fine, like it's within the rules, but
I'm just wondering. It just feels like um, it feels like well once you get caught on a card, it feels like you shouldn't be able to come back in on that card. Um,
yeah.
I'm not sure though. I'm glad I saw that interaction
But
though, so I
like,
can think about it.
but what do you think? So we know he has 5 coins, right? He gets caught on it saying 7. Do you think he should be able to not 6, but go back with 5? Because we already know he has that, right?
Oh
Because then if
man.
he reveal,
How do
because
you? Yeah,
then
but
actually,
how do you explain that in the rules? If at a
no,
previous
no,
point
yep, nope.
you
I'm not trying to argue how we're going to say it in the rules. I'm
no,
just
I
trying to
know.
discuss the mechanic. Because what I'm going to say is, if we don't allow him to come back on this at all, right? But
Yeah.
he was winning against you. Now his incentive may be to call bluffs incorrectly to reveal his hand and get 5 back on there for the doubler.
Hmm. I'm wondering, like, it really sucks. I understand from his perspective, like, he spent the whole draft phase collecting coins, and if he wants to bluff, like, suddenly, okay, so I understand why you can let him come back on the card in some sense, because, like, it disincentivizes bluffing if you can't come back on the card after you've been caught already. Because, like, he's got 5 coins. He should be able to leverage those coins even after he gets caught bluffing, I think. I mean, it just would really suck. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
Um,
see what you're. It's this is a pretty like specific situation that we've come upon, but
yeah,
and I don't think it comes up every game. Obviously, of course, it's going to come up in this game that we're discussing everything, but
right.
but which is good. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's because the reason this is so complicated is because he got called for a bluff and he wasn't bluffing when he had already over your amount on the doubler, and then he went over by 2 and got called and was bluffing. So now he can go like it's because of like all of these factors that now we're in a super weird position.
Okay.
Um, and I
I'm,
don't know
I,
that if it happened any different way, we would be in such a weird position.
I guess I'm not seeing why it would necessarily influence the situation that he's good for 5 coins for sure in this game.
Because then he can't because then we know already in his hand he has 5 coins, and he can't really change strategies too effectively at that point. Which
That's
maybe he
true.
shouldn't be able to because he got called out on bluffing.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to say. That would be the only thing is we now know that about his hand. It feels like he should be able to leverage it because he's telling the truth about it. We know that.
Right. Right. That's why. So my instinct is just to say, if you got, if you get called out on a bluff, and you were actually bluffing, this guy doesn't want to do business with you at all anymore this round. So
Yeah.
you're barred from this from whatever cards you've been called bluffed on. Um, Now, the problem with that though is that he has such finite symbols in his hand. Then he can't really leverage. Like it
Well,
feels like
that's
he's
what
out
I'm
of the
saying.
round at that
That's what
point.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
situation that we don't allow him to, because we already called a bluff incorrect and he wasn't bluffing, we know he has 5 there. Um, we know a ton of information about his hand. He can't really switch strategies. He's kind of
Right.
in a bad spot.
Right.
Um,
And so the question is like, if the rule was in the rule book, he probably would not have risked the bluff.
yeah, and that could be fair. But
Yeah.
it would be a change of strategy potentially. I mean, Brent,
Right.
is that what
Right.
you think you would have done?
S-
Would you have put 5 there if like you thought, I guess?
Would I would I have put 5 there originally? Wait, what?
Would you have played it the same if the rule was if you get called for bluffing, and you were bluffing, you can't bid on that noble anymore.
Yeah, I mean that completely changes the game.
Yeah.
I don't, but
Yeah.
we we could talk about it after
Okay,
the
we can talk
round,
about it
maybe. Yeah.
after we're done.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's.
You're still trying to get away with something here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Well,
finish the round.
we'll see. I think it's
All
Sam's
right.
turn.
Yeah, it is. And I'm gonna put another one on a bid. I'm gonna bid on the pearl.
Hmm.
I had a lot of time to think about that bid because we talked for 15 minutes.
Hmm. I wonder.
I wonder.
Hmm?
Oh, now Greg's getting in on it.
Wow,
Okay.
oh my gosh. Look at how many wool are out here.
He's discarded
Uh-huh.
4 wool.
And there's other double Izzo, and here's one, and
Yeah.
here's one.
Those are the most powerful hands, though, where you discard a lot and you have a lot in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
guess
what
it's-
I guess kind of like an incentive, which it's not clear, but the best thing would be, I would think, if you get a ton of one in your hand and you can throw out enough of it to make people think, oh, there's no way he has like a lot of that,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
because then you can play that later in the auction as like a trump.
I'm gonna say you don't have the cats, Sam.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have the cats.
It's
Oh,
a
wow, good
point on the
catch.
board. We're one closer. And that's my turn.
Good catch. Wow. I'm gonna pass. I
Well,
think.
Sam's
I've
turn.
I pass,
Oh,
but
Oh, you passed. Okay.
yeah, I'm pass. Yeah.
sorry, but yeah. So if I pass, then Greg, do you still want to pass after me?
Yeah, I do want to pass.
All right, I'll pass as well. All right, now I can say what I want to say. I misplayed on this. I meant to go up to 6, not 7.
Oh, okay.
I meant to go,
Okay.
and I was trying to get out another bait, which, I mean, I don't know if you would have done it on 6. I'm assuming you would have. And I did have 6. I can reveal my hand now. What the heck?
Oh, okay.
I did have 6 coins, so I was trying to fish
Wow.
for another bait that way.
Okay.
I can't grab my hand. Here we go.
Wow, look at the coins. Okay.
Yeah,
I had one
I
more
wanted
point.
to go up to 6, not 7. So that was like, I totally miscounted. And then you guys were like asking me all these questions about like, oh, did you want, like, how would you play this differently? And I'm just like, I just want to finish the round.
That's super interesting that it was a misplay, because I feel like that might have been the optimal thing for you to do, actually, to play 7.
Well, no, because
Yeah, given the rules.
if you did, if Greg called me out at 6, he would have been out of the round. I would have pushed him out.
Oh, that's what you were trying to accomplish?
Right. I was trying to get out another fake bid, or fake accusation or whatever. So then,
But then would you have gone to 7 after that then?
no, I would not have.
No, he wouldn't have.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So speaking on the point of being able to go back, like in that niche situation where I misplayed, you called me out, I went right back on it.
Uh-huh.
And this is just different of play styles and people as well, and how we play games. But I love that idea that you can just, and I think this game is light enough and should, obviously we are talking over all these and trying to nitpick at every fine, like you said, you're a perfectionist, Greg, and I love that. I like to
Right.
do the same thing. But a lot of times I like to go in the headspace of, all right, let me just pretend I'm playing this with my family or my friends. This game feels to me like, and again, I play a lot of heavy, complex games. I love those types of games. Obviously, I love lighter games
Right.
too, and that's why Sam and I decided to, our first game that we're creating, our first couple games are going to be lighter, just to understand the process of it as well. And
Right.
I think just a light game that's fun. It's quirky. I like the idea that it plays fast. You can just bluff as you willy nilly and go back on. That's just how I view the game. I do like that. That's my point of view on it.
Yeah, I would say I kind of partially agree. I think, yeah, we're definitely like hyper fixating on stuff that other players would not hyper fixate on. I'd think, um, with like the target demographics and stuff. But it is interesting to talk about all that. And I think as like the designers, we got to talk about all that stuff, for sure. But it's just definitely more in depth than I think. I think the normal response to that, if you put the six back on, somebody would be like, "Oh, geez," or like, "Oh, what am I gonna do with that now?" And then like play would move on, right? Like we wouldn't be like, "Well, you did 7 and then 6 and then like," we were really thinking about the meta game analysis of that, which I don't know if that would be. I don't know how much of that is just because we're like talking about the actual design of it and it's not a finished game, and how much of
Mm-hmm.
is what it is.
Yeah.
I think there's
Have you played Cat
I
in the Box, Greg?
I have not. No.
So like that game is another. It's a quick one. It's not as like I would say like funny or silly as this game in terms of like the theming and whatnot.
Hmm.
But it's a shorter game, and there can be an instance where you're getting negative like 5 or 8 points, and which is a huge swing. And if that happens in the
Hmm.
game, like I laugh over it. It's called like when you paradox. I won't go in the theming of the game, but you paradox and you get a bunch of negative points on it, and that's just fun for me. Like if I lose that game by 20 points because I got negative 8 points on the last round, and it only lasts like 4 rounds. That's just, I don't know. To me, that's fun. Like I'm not super caring about when I play Terraforming Mars and I lose by 50 points because I spent 3 hours playing the game, right? Like in that
Right.
instance,
Right.
you want it to be super balanced, and there shouldn't be huge swings like that. In
Right.
this case, these lighter games, I love the idea of um, there can be crazy swings at some points. Obviously, I don't want that to be every game, but if it's niche situations where that can occur, like I love that.
I agree. I think swings are really healthy for bidding games too. I I'm just so like the reason that I ask like is this play optimal? Like because if a play is optimal, that means that the game is set up such that if the player is finding the correct play, then they need to do that every single time. So like every single time, it's either true or false that it's correct for you to put 7 there or not. And I was thinking that
Right.
it probably was true just because of the doubler was here. And like
Yeah.
if that was true, it's not necessarily a healthy mechanism for you to
Yeah.
have in your game, and you'd want to maybe like think about that more. The only other thing I'll say here is that this felt intuitively like not how it should work. That you
Yeah,
could
that's
come back
fair.
on it.
That makes
Um,
sense too.
I
Yeah.
just I had an intuition, but then like I thought more about it because then I thought about like, well, what else are you supposed to do then if you can't come here with your coins? Like what like your hand, you're kind of stuck. Like that's kind of like your
Right.
whole
Like I
round.
can't just go say, oh yeah, I have 6 on this.
Yeah.
Right.
Suddenly you have three
Yeah.
teacups
Yeah.
or like 5 teacups, yeah, whatever. Like so like I understand the limitations and I understand probably why you have the rule to put it back on. It just felt unintuitive.
Mhm.
It still feels unintuitive to me, but I get it. And there was like another element to it that was interesting to me, but I've now forgotten it. So I'll think on it more.
But to your point, Greg, like
Mhm.
I think we're kind of like half going off half cocked here, because yes, that would really suck if he got called on this and then wasn't able to do anything here, but we already knew he was telling the truth about 5, so then he can't adjust his strategy.
Right.
But that only sucks so bad because that rule was like he made those decisions not knowing the rule that he wouldn't be able to come back, right?
That's true. Like if he had modified his strategy in accord with the new rule, he probably wouldn't have played
Yeah,
that way.
so it's tough to say either way. It would just need to be play tested more, but um like
That is that is my other point. Yeah, I guess is that like the thing that speaks for the rule that you currently have is that if you weren't allowed to come back on the card, that just does disincentivize bidding to some degree. I couldn't tell you how much it would disincentivize, or not bidding, but
it
betting
would
or bluffing. I
change
mean,
the yeah, it would maybe not it would disincentivize bluffing to some degree for sure.
Yeah,
It also would change how you're placing bids because you probably wouldn't go up like he went up like 3 to get to that 5 marker, and then he went up 2 more, and I know that was a miss grab or whatever for him, but
hmm
if that was optimal, he went up 2 more, and then it's like, well, geez. You probably wouldn't go up by such huge swings if you're like, well, if they call my bluff and I am bluffing here, I'm making it kind of obvious that I'm bluffing. Then I'll get out of this one. It would just be you'd bid differently for sure.
Yeah, wow. There's just so much to consider, isn't there? The bidding games are just really interesting.
I know it's crazy how much depth you kind of just like we set up simple rules and you just get a ton of depth out of it.
Yeah, you get it for free, like in
Yeah.
these bidding and deduction games. It's really cool. I like that. I've never even tried to design it like this, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
All right.
Okay.
Did you oh yeah, you want to reveal your hand? Wait, did you? Oh no, you still got 3 over there.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
here
do
we go.
points or anything yet.
So you have.
Okay.
Oh, you were lying on 1 for this one, so you got.
Yeah, it was.
You got 2 points on this one.
Okay.
I got 1, 2, 3 points
Oh,
on this
3,
one.
4, right?
No, 3.
Wow.
Oh no, this is your hand over here.
Yes,
Yeah,
man.
3. Okay.
Got 3 points on that one. This one, were you? Oh, you weren't lying.
I told the truth on that one. Yeah, I was
Nice.
adding more to that.
Oh, jeez, you had so many of
Yeah.
those.
So
Yeah.
that's 1 point for you there.
Uh-huh.
I get 1 point for the cat's pajamas. Sam, you were lying by
I get
1.
2 points for that.
Sam, you were lying by 1.
I get 2 points for that.
Darn it. And I was telling the truth here. Gets me to 12.
Yeah. No, so just talking initially, I was happy with how my hand was developing, Greg. This is
Oh,
going
yeah.
up like now an hour.
I do
Like
remember you saying that, though. Yeah.
I had like 2 of these in my hand that I drew 2 of these in one round, and then I had this as well that I could discard, and I had 3 coins to start as well. So I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna get more coins, and then I didn't get any more. So that it didn't end up being actually that good of a hand. But when I was discarding, I was like, oh, these are good discards. But
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're there. So there is definitely
because
something
I'm
to strive
revealing
for.
really like not that much information with these discards, these cards
Right.
going away is the idea.
Because these are just kind of inherently undesirable, I guess.
Yeah, which probably isn't great, but they like it's not bad. Like it depends on what strategy you're going for.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be, having these in the
Yeah.
game is healthy, though, because
Mm.
this represents more of a threat. Like if this wasn't in the game, it would be much simpler. Like,
Yeah,
well, he's got
yep.
6 cards, so he can only
That's
have a
totally
maximum
true.
of 6,
Yep.
things. So I think these are really necessary and healthy.
Mhm.
I wonder.
That's funny. When we were going over all this at the beginning of this round,
Mhm.
like trying to optimize in the fetch phase, building your hand.
Yeah.
Greg, you were like, "Oh, let's make out a hand together," and then Sam had taken out his cards from his deck or his hand that we couldn't see, and I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "I do not want to restart this," because my first hand was these 3 down here. I had 3 coins to begin
Oh,
with,
geez.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like,
Okay.
yeah, I really want to pursue a strategy right now of heavy coins and drop it late into the auction phase. That was my. So when you were asking about like, oh, how do you, like, remember when I was pointing out the 4 note sheets when we were doing that one fake hand? I just you were asking about how you build your hands. I just didn't want to give it away for this round in particular because it was in the back of my head. I was like, oh, I could just tell them like, oh yeah, I have 3 coins in my hand right now. I'd love to do this, but I was like, I really want to play it though, so I'm not gonna say. And yeah, so that's an example where, I was behind on points. I knew I was gonna. My personal strategy was build up on coins and drop it late into the game and try to get you guys to try to accuse me on it. Or what I was doing too was doing small bids on nobles that I don't have because I know Sam Sam likes to think that I like to make bluffing bids, like small bluffing bids, as to kind of fish out those fake accusations. Like I'll put, oh yeah, I have 2 snake oils and 2 china and 6 pajamas when I really do have the pajamas and I'm lying on the smaller bids. So I was trying to actually, reverse that and make some small bids on like the cat's pajamas, which I did have, and the pearls, which I did have, and I actually wanted Sam to call me out on those. And I was like, I'm gonna come in late with a big one on the coins, and I think maybe Sam will call me out on any of those, and he's gonna be wrong. That's just how I'm thinking through it after playing this game many times.
That's really helpful. I love that you guys are both telling me how you're approaching this. I really needed that kind of traction to understand how to put the pieces together, I think. Because so much of it, sorry, this is the last thing I'll say. So much of it is like psychological, I think,
Mhm.
and how much credit you're getting from other players in their brains. Um, whereas like in like a Euro game, I could say like, oh, well, he's doing this because like it grows his power in this area, and like I can
Yeah,
see
you
the
can
efficiency track.
rationalize all their decisions,
Right.
kind of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
highly rational, and you can see like the downstream consequences of each decision very clearly. Whereas in this one, it's more like, well, I'm building coins so that I can play them in a specific way that's more believable to Sam this game, and like that kind of thing, which is like it's really cool. I'm not saying it's like a bad thing. I'm saying it's actually really cool
Yeah, she's
that
very
you can.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's very intangible. Like I can't.
I know. That's
Yeah,
what that's what I was gonna say. It's like, yeah, Brent gives that example of he drew these three cards at the beginning of the phase, and that's an example where okay, he can from those three cards glean a clear direction then that he
Mhm.
might want to move, and that kind of can
Right,
solve the fetch phase and make it much more interesting for him, especially as he's drawing these coins. Every one he draws, he's like, yes, 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 right? Um,
right.
but that doesn't happen every round. Like I didn't like or you didn't or whatever. You don't always have like a clear direction in the fetch phase. And then it's like if you don't have that, I do think that phase drags. But we've obviously talked that to death kind of at this point. Um,
Yeah.
but that so you can have clear direction there. It just doesn't always happen. But that would you say that was much more engaging of a phase for you that turn, Brent, or maybe not?
For the fetch phase?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have as much as a problem. The problem I have with the fetch phase is less about the strategy of it. I'm okay with it being almost very straightforward and a setup to the auction phase. My biggest issue with it is just the time it takes. Sometimes it can take a while, and maybe you're waiting on the person, especially in a 3 or 4 player game. Like then it really drag. You're waiting for 3 other players to look and discard cards. That's why I thought maybe a simultaneous play would fix just the time aspect of it, and I'm not too worried about the strategy. I understand it's a setup for auction, but I totally understand your guys' points where there's not much direction to it, and it seems like it can be more strategic if X or Y is implemented into it.
Mhm.
Like my thought with it is how I was just talking about the issue with the coming back on bidding on nobles is it's a light game. I want it to be a faster paced game. I'm okay with one phase being a little bit more straightforward and bland, at the expense or not the expense, at the benefit of it's quick and you get to the fun part of the game faster. But what were we just talking about? Oh, the engagement of it. I drew a lot of coins, so I had this, and then I was drawing a lot of coins, so it was very easy for me to make the decision what I'm discarding. So I guess in terms of engagement, it was still pretty straightforward what I was doing because just my
Yeah.
strategy was coming into fruition as I wanted it to. So
I mean, that's really helpful for me to understand for sure. What I was doing here is I'm just looking to see if I can find a direction in all of these starting hands here.
Mhm.
Like this would be a similar direction to what you took with coins. I think like it'll be a good tell that you're in a really good spot if you can always find some sort of reason to go somewhere with your starting hand. But maybe 3 cards are just never going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's because you can obviously adjust your strategy kind of as
On the
you're
fly.
yeah,
Yeah,
but and
that's
there
all
it's
this
all
is.
sort of nebulous as well since you can kind of until you start having to reveal cards, you can kind of represent your hand in the auction phase as however you want. Um,
That's true. You can always kind of wing it.
yeah, but it's tough.
Ah,
Like,
That
so what if say that mentioned that rule that we had that I was spitballing earlier. What if you had with this hand you drew, you knew
Mhm.
you had to go, you had to win the pajamas.
Yeah.
Would you like then, oh well, this is useless, or would you still hoard a lot of one type, or would you like what would you do, I guess?
I would definitely be looking for pajamas. I think
Yeah.
the problem is that now it just my goal above everything else is pajamas.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a problem in itself. Like again, like if you like this becomes a hard decision until you implement that rule, and then this that decision is sort of obliterated because now this is the card that I take every time, I think, with the
Yeah, that's
pajama rule in play. Um,
that's probably true. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
I wonder. There's just something so interesting to me about
Revealing them. Yeah.
having to play a card down to commit. Like you're committing information to get access to something here. Um,
Do you want to try playing a quick round like that?
yeah, maybe.
I
Would you
mean,
guys
we
mind?
can
Like
do another time if you want.
Yes,
yeah,
I know it's late for you, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm getting a little tired, but I would.
that's
Maybe
totally
we don't have to
fine.
play like a full formal round. Maybe we could just like spitball just for a couple minutes and just see
Sure. Yeah.
you just
No,
want to
it's
has been
deal.
totally
my
We
fine.
can
If
just
if
deal
if ever you
six.
wanna,
We could just deal six.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, let's do that.
and if ever you're just like, oh, I'm done with this, that's totally
Yeah,
fine too. You've given us a ton of time here.
yeah. I'm
No,
really interested.
Yeah, that's great.
Um, I'm like you guys. I really like to think about this stuff. I It's really interesting. So let me. I had a few ideas, and I wanted to make sure that I remember. I probably don't. Um, I'm just gonna put my hand down here so you can see.
okay.
Um, if this is okay, and what I'm thinking is that you probably need another card at least, like at least 7 cards in your hand at the start if you're gonna do it the way that I'm thinking here. Um, okay, so let's. Okay, we'll start with my spitball
We
idea, I
can
guess, real
we can
quick.
all yeah, okay. Do you want us
Yeah.
to all reveal or something like that, or
Um,
you're leading the show here? What's your idea?
Okay, let's actually play like it's actually hidden information just so we can because I feel like that's maybe important. I'm gonna put my cards back and get 7 new ones here.
Okay.
Um, and then I'll hide these. Okay.
Okay.
Now okay, so I'll go first. My idea is in order to place a bid, you always have to put a card down. Um, and the card has to match.
You always have to put a card down, or if you have to have revealed a card of that bid type. So like just say for instance I have one on here and then I reveal this card and then
Yeah,
on a future round I put another one on there.
you're right. That's a better way to do it. I like that better.
And I don't
So
have to
you
reveal another card then.
right. This is sort of like your access.
But
Like in order to
what about bidding on the note sheet?
that would still be good. This card would
Okay.
get you access to both, I think, is how
Okay.
I see
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So it's really
Um,
like yeah.
You're
I guess
you're
it's a
just putting down
maximum of
some
like 3.
collateral. Yeah.
It's like a maximum of 3. I guess you could. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see. I see.
It could be
that's
more
true.
than
Maybe that
3.
doesn't.
It could
Maybe
be
that
more than
doesn't work then.
3.
Because if it's going to be a maximum of 3, then it's not really interesting, is it?
It could be more than 3 in the
It could be
situation that you
4.
put one of these
Yeah,
down.
it could be 4. But also, revealing
Right.
4 or 3 cards from your hand is a lot. It's a lot. Like that changes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I will
something
say
that's
like scores will probably just reduce here, like overall
yeah.
scoring, which is not a bad thing. It just scales.
Yeah. Well, let's just.
There's something that's very wrong about this, but I'm wondering like if there's some merit here let's just play like
Don't worry. It's
one or
not going to
two
be any
turns.
worse than some iterations we've played of our games.
Seriously, some of these were like unplayable.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious to hear what else you guys have tried. But let's see.
Uh,
Okay, so let's say I'm so curious to show you my hand, but let's see. Because now I'm thinking about the cards in a different way. So
Yeah, this does make you think about it different for sure.
yeah. So like, well, how would this make sense? I think this is interesting here. So like, if I do this,
your first, I'm going to say probably your first bid is much more strategic than it would be in the previous
Yeah,
rounds.
absolutely.
I think so too. I think so too. It skips that whole build up of like I'm
Right.
gonna put one here,
Right.
you put two there, I'll put two
Yeah.
until they're all kind of
Yep.
claimed. And I
Yep.
think that is an area where you guys should think about because that is kind of unhealthy if everyone plays that way.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah, fair.
so I think I'm gonna put down, let's see, I'm gonna put down 3 on the teacups.
Okay.
All right. I'll put 4 on the teacups.
Interesting.
Okay.
Always gotta one up Greg.
You do like to do that.
Just get in your
I'm gonna
head,
blame my
man.
low score on that
Just
behavior.
getting. That's also interesting to me too. You know, like this game is so simple, but I guess there is a pretty big skill ceiling. Just because times where we've seen other people play, and just like this game too, like
Mhm.
where we have double and triple your points. It's so like
Right.
it's so interesting to me, like how actually we're good at this game when it just seems like so simple.
Yeah, I definitely feel that this is definitely a skill heavy game for sure. Like and that's a huge asset. I think it's very easy to design games that where skill does not come into play. So I feel like that's a big asset to your game. I just okay, so I'm curious, like
This
I was
is
also
I
thinking
kind
like
of like this. I'm gonna say already, I kind of like this.
I was
But
also thinking if there was some system where like you could play from your hand or like if you had to you could take from here and use one of those symbols or something like that. I'm just going to put that there. Just that's another spitball idea. That's probably not good, but
during the auction phase, you're saying?
there like if there was some condition where like you could pull from here rather than your hand and use a symbol like that. Or like if you what if you did like I don't want this card. I want to do
Like a
this card
swap.
and put it here.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, like that or something like I don't know. Um,
But it's revealed, obviously. Then, yeah,
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 the
that's
nice part
interesting.
about the nice part about this is that like it doesn't go to your hand, so you don't get those nasty memory games where like, oh, Greg took the sheet and the
Yep,
coins early, and I got to
yep.
remember that. Nope,
Hmm.
there's none of that. Like I would never allow that, and I don't think you guys would either. But
Yeah,
No,
no.
we had that at one point.
mm,
Like the fetch phase was you had the it was either you draw from the top or you had the opportunity to draw from like a tableau of cards, and
mm,
we axed that pretty quick because yeah, it was a little bit of
yeah,
memory games that is like oh, and
yeah.
people wouldn't
Once,
remember because it's like oh, that happened 5 minutes ago. I'm not going to remember that
yeah, it's not
that
only
one
like
round.
it's like impossible to remember, but it's like very frustrating to try to remember
Yeah,
too.
so
It's
I
like
know.
not
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's
Not
just
fun at all.
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing fun about that. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
I'm gonna leave this here just so that I don't forget that this is kind of something I'm cooking. No,
Now we're
I'm
cooking
gonna,
with fire.
yeah, I'm going to, let's see.
It's already this is already interesting because you played the teacups. Brent won up to you on the teacups, but in doing so, he revealed this oil, which I'm
Right.
playing oil to try to block him in the future potentially from the
Oh, that's a
ability
good
to
point.
play oil.
And because you've shown coins,
So it
that kind of
might
gives me a
almost,
little,
yeah, you've got, yeah, well, yeah, I have one coin at least, but
Which is a doubler. Monkey business. Monkey business. Oh,
so
oh,
that's
oh,
an
oh.
interesting one to reveal. I feel like
yeah, it's,
that's probably, depending on your hand, I feel like that would be a bad one to reveal.
I think so too. I kind of regretted pulling it. I did, but I felt like I had reasons to keep my other ones. I just,
Okay, and maybe you do, but
yeah,
like you're only getting 1 point of value out of that with the current rule set, right? Like what? Because you're only unlocking one resource there.
that's true. I I think so. I think unlocking because there's so few symbols, there's only 7. I think that unlocking resources is probably only important in maybe your first turn, whereas then it suddenly becomes much more valuable to retain information in your hand, I'm thinking.
Hmm.
That's kind of like that was my reasoning for picking that card is I felt like I gave away less
Okay,
than I would
maybe
have with
yeah.
my other cards. I'm not sure if that's correct though. That was kind of my thinking. Okay.
We will bid 2 pearlies.
Right.
Oh, oh, oh,
4 coins.
Oh,
oh.
wow.
Interesting.
Who can pull him off of that?
Uh,
4 is like the perfect number. It's like just believable
Four,
enough.
four is tricky. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you don't want to outbid it.
Yeah, because 5 is risky.
Yeah.
It's like a very interesting threshold. Um, okay, so now I'm looking at my cards, and it is like kind of an interesting thought here. Um,
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
okay, I'm gonna come over here on the wolf.
Two on the wall. Okay. Gonna put 4 on the swan song.
Mm.
He's got 2 papers showing.
Does have 2 papers showing. I'm doing 4
Oh,
on the pajamas.
oh wow.
Wait, I didn't
You
even
got
need to reveal this card. Oh, I didn't even.
No, you did not need to reveal that card.
Well,
I think it's correct
whatever.
though that if this was going to be a test or if this was going to be a potential mechanism, I think you would have to play a card each time you go down.
See, okay. I feel like we are losing some strategy. If I don't. So far, this seems less strategic to me
It
than
does. I think so too.
not trying to dismiss it or anything, but
No, no,
um,
no. I
I
think
thought it seemed very strategic at first, and now it's
mhm.
seeming like we're kind of falling into a groove.
Yeah, it does. It's just a lot to think about. I think it is a bad idea. I thought it like I went in thinking it was a bad idea, and I do think we've confirmed it's a bad idea.
I mean, it's not. It's
Um
good though. It's good brainstorming. I'm not
yeah, I'm gonna
dismissing it.
play it. I'm wondering like there would have to be some other mechanism where because you're gonna narrow down your pool of cards,
Yeah.
like where you would have to interact with some neutral pool here in some way to preserve your information um, in that way. So, I mean, I'm happy to stop this test here if you guys want to try a different spitball, but it was very interesting to see how this played out because I just couldn't see it in my brain how it
No.
would
Yeah.
work.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's like
Yeah,
impossible
Yeah.
to fully
yeah,
formulate, especially with
yeah.
a game like this. I feel like when it's so
hmm
cerebral.
Right, right. And all the
Mhm.
incentives are, yeah, just exactly as you're saying, intangible.
Well, yeah, I don't really have. I mean, I don't really have a spitball idea right off the top of my head here.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely like. Yeah, I don't know if Brent, do you have anything you want to test or otherwise?
Um. Yeah. Not right now. I mean, I wouldn't want to do a full round either
Yeah,
to
we're kind of
Yeah.
because like anything I'd want to test are like really minor changes where I'd want to do like a full run through. Not like just spitball, like
sure.
try something
Yeah.
that can take
Right.
just a couple
Right.
minutes. So we could do that
Not a
later.
push.
But Greg, you do you have? I'm assuming you have a print and play of your rolling right, or do you not?
My roll and write is so heavy. I don't have a print and play. I have it's in TTS.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Just
And
like a way we can play
yeah.
test it.
Yeah, I do. And I did a playtest with somebody else from my thread, which is it's really interesting. Like I couldn't find playtesters for my game at all, right? To save my life. And then I just volunteered my time for in the thread and just it worked out where I met some nice people and so I've been able to test my game more in the process too. So it's been
Oh,
just kind of like
nice.
a positive experience all around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's been kind
yeah.
of our experience too. Like we've been we've been testing, like we tested Zachary's as well, and
Yeah, it's
we'd be
been
happy to
really.
test yours too. Like
I would
absolutely.
love that. I would love that. I would love your guys' opinion because I feel like I need people who aren't afraid to tell me like, this isn't good. This is not fun. I'm kind of looking for those type of people.
Mm.
And I feel like you guys would be good at that too. Just being
Yeah.
honest, where, you know what, I I have this pet peeve, like, so I've been involved in art my whole life, and like, there are these types of people who look at your work, and it's nothing but like a thumbs up that they'll give you,
Oh
like,
yeah.
and it doesn't matter what the quality of work is, they're just always going to give you a thumbs up because that's kind of like what they're comfortable with. It's polite, it's
Well,
like.
they're not really engaging with it probably.
Right, right. So yeah, it's a twofold problem. They're not engaging with it sometimes, but also like they're just trying to be nice. But the problem is that you don't learn anything and you don't improve with just a thumbs up. And so I always try, like in my reviews of games, I always try to be like completely honest but nice at the same time. So like I try to balance being nice and like being honest and like like I
Hmm.
try to make it clear like these are some things to consider, like changes, and I try to give people like I try to point them to the weaknesses of the game where I see them. Um, and
Well,
so
yeah,
like I'm looking
you've
for.
really done that here in like a kind way. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I
not
really hope.
saying. I mean, we could handle it if you were
Yeah,
an asshole about it, but we're
yeah.
not. So it's
I try not to be because I so empathize with how hard it is, right? It's just
Mhm.
designing games just really hard. So like I totally get that. And yeah, so I'm looking for um, people who are comfortable giving that type of feedback. And I feel like you guys are very squarely in territory. So I'd be very happy to have
Hmm.
your input on my game. It's a heavier game, so it'd be a lot to ask from you guys in terms of
Well, like
because your game
what's
is
like the playtime? I'm not sorry, excuse me. Um,
um
like just to give us an idea,
yeah, I would it's
just so
probably to
we
be
can
honest,
just more from a planning perspective rather than like
yeah,
we'll play it or not. I'd be happy to play it either way, but
with a teach and a play, I would think it'd be about 2 hours.
okay.
Maybe even a little more. What's nice is
Well,
that I've
Well,
got.
that's
probably
well,
more
that's
because we're
nothing. That's nothing to ask when you've
Yeah.
now spent 4 hours of your time, or whatever it's been. But
well,
would
and
you want
it
to teach it to us, or would you want us to blind go in and like you did, read the rules, try to play it for ourselves?
That's a really good question. So like, um, it's really hard. It's painful for me to say no. I don't want you to blind play test it, but because I'm working on um, two specific changes right now, I think it would be one really good to be able to change little tiny things on the fly if I need to with you guys, but also it would just be good to have like a conversation, like kind of a flowing conversation like we've had with your game,
Yeah.
with you if I'm there with you. So I think I would, I mean, blind playtests are the best way to
Mhm.
figure out the weaknesses of your game. But I think
Absolutely.
with you guys, I would like to maybe have a conversational flow about how you feel at each step. Um,
Yeah, and we could read the rule. Oh, like even while we're reading the rule book, you mean?
no, more like you guys just show up and I'll teach you and we'll play together and we'll kind of just discuss like if you feel like if you get an intuition like, hey, the system doesn't feel fun right now, or that kind of thing, we could have like a real-time conversation
Okay.
because I would be with you. Whereas if it's a blind play test, we couldn't have those conversations. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking
that
I'm
makes
leaning that
sense. Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking that like I don't know. I feel like even I got a lot out of like I learned a lot talking with you guys about your game. So I think it would be I'm gonna probably choose that avenue if it's up to me that I would like to be with you, teach you, and then we could have like the real time sort of conversation. Whereas if I'm not there, then I kind of miss that opportunity.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's. I
Yeah,
mean, that's fine with me. Do you
yeah.
you don't want so you don't want to send us the rules or anything ahead of time? You want to just go
I
through
can,
it at the
well,
time?
I can send you the mod and the rules right now if you wanted to.
Well, it's your preference. I'm fine
Yeah,
either way, honestly.
Hmm.
yeah.
But we'll read them if you send them to us. We will read them and we can prepare a little bit ahead of time. Just like read through, try to understand it as best we can, and then we can explain it when we get to you, or we can go in totally blind and give you our first
Yeah.
impressions. It's totally up to you.
I hate to ask you guys to do the homework too. I
No,
think
oh
I'll
well,
let's just.
I was just about to say, Greg, that
Mhm.
I can't even rate myself as a game designer I think I am pretty good at. Let's just say Sam is fully designing the game. I think I'm pretty good at giving feedback when I play test his ideas. But I really
Okay.
think that I am very strong at reading through rule books and
Oh,
and giving feedback on not just the rules in general, but also the layout, the structure, those weird
mhm.
sentences, right, that you think
Yes.
are super clear to you, but may not be as clear to others. Like, and I actually like doing that.
Right.
So you're saying it's homework, but I don't know why. I Sam knows that I like just writing and grammar in general. We've talked about it more than he'd probably care to admit, but yeah, no, I'd be happy to go through your rule book and just nitpick at every sentence and every
Hair,
period.
hair shreds.
Yeah, tear to
Okay. Well,
shreds,
I would.
both literally and figuratively.
Okay. Well, I would absolutely love that, and I think it's too good of an opportunity to say no to, even though I do feel bad.
No, don't feel bad at all. I mean, you've spent so much time with us too, but
Yeah.
that's what I've like. I mean, I've been in the gaming community for some years now, and
Mhm.
it's like such a uh, like non-toxic. There's, for lack of a better term, like everyone is
Mm.
so nice and willing and able to do anything. Like I post on Board Game Geek, and I always get comments with people giving me or sending me in the right direction or giving me good feedback or just, and it's like within 24 hours people are just texting me, hey,
Wow.
like this. Just people are so into it, and nobody is toxic. It's honestly like a great community.
I think you're right. Like
It's incredible.
I've not interacted publicly much. Like just recently, I've done. I guess the only other community I've interacted with is the Break My Game community, and I've only been on there a few times, and they were very sweet there too. I don't know if you guys have ever done that Discord server playtest thing, but
No, I've heard of that. I've seen some
yeah,
stuff, but no, I
yeah,
haven't.
they're real sweet over there too. Yeah, well, I would love to schedule a time with you guys. It doesn't have to be tonight. We don't have to schedule tonight, but just at some point in the future, I would love to have you guys play through my game and just pick your brain and see. Was I wanted to kind of tell you like so I wanted to ask you guys too, where do you feel like you're at in the development process? Do you feel like you're pretty close to like, hey, I've got a game, like, does anyone want to buy this game? Like, are you approaching publishers? Are you self-publishing? And where do you
We were
see
kind of
yourself in terms of,
Yeah. So,
We're,
well, this is our first time through, obviously. We were kind of planning on self-publishing, and we've been budgeting a little bit for that and stuff. But I
okay,
mean, obviously, we're still in the playtesting phase. We're in
right,
discussions with an artist to try to get art. We've got
okay,
some dates kind of planned out for that, but it's all contingent on playtesting.
hmm
we have a
We're
meeting
still like,
tomorrow with our manufacturer actually.
that's
oh
true.
wow, wow,
But it's a very preliminary meeting. It's not like we're still in kind of, obviously you're seeing here that there's still potentially changes to be made into the game. It's not finalized by any means.
right,
Um, but but yeah, we're further along. Like I'm pretty happy with where the game's at right now.
yeah,
Um, there's just all those little incentive tweaks that I feel like. So I feel like we're at a place that we could get art because we're pretty happy with like the layout of these cards and stuff. We know kind of what the structure of the game is, and that's probably not going to change too much.
right,
Um, and then manufacturers the next process if you're self-publishing, which we were kind of planning on pursuing that avenue.
okay, yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, the bottleneck for us right now is, we've started all the social medias, and I've been on Board Game Geek and Instagram and whatnot. It's hard to get that following. So I feel like just this networking, like meeting with you, we're going to this designer convention. No, no,
oh,
not next month. Oh yeah,
November.
next. Well, I guess next month now, right? It's in November, and yeah, it's
which one
just
are you going to?
We're
proto
going to
spiel.
Okay, yeah, I've really been thinking of going to one of those too.
Yeah, so the
Yep,
the one
going to
by
one.
us is will be in Madison and
Okay,
Wisconsin, and so we're going to that in November, which I think is just going to be an absolute blast. But the right now the bottleneck is trying to find people to actually take interest in our game or just know that our game exists, right?
right,
So
right. I feel like you at some point it really sucks because you have to transition from being like an artist or a designer into being
Mhm.
like a salesman. And I
right,
really don't like that transition. I'm just not a salesman. I don't like to talk up my own work, like
I
that
know.
kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I
Mm.
And
know.
I don't like trying to convince people to like pay attention to me or anything like that. But I feel like no matter what route I take, like I feel like that's going to be a point. Like it was a point at with my first game too, where I submitted it to two or three publishers. One publisher actually took it in and did internal playtesting on it, and he eventually rejected it. Um, but like it just, I hated the feeling of those cold call, like email type things. It just really not my scene. So I'm not looking forward to that again. So I'm
Hmm.
trying to make my game
Yeah.
just like almost unrejectable so I can get through it.
Right.
Like,
Well,
Yeah,
so
that's
I
tough.
think it's less about like going straight up the ladder and almost having that horizontal growth, which like reaching out on Board Game Geek, talking with us, play testing our game. Now
right,
we'll play test yours. I'd be happy to
right.
share your game, whether it sucks or it's the best game in the world. I'd be happy to share it
Mhm.
on our Instagram and talk about it on our podcast and whatnot because
Oh, wow.
um,
That's really cool of you guys. Yeah.
oh,
No,
I would love that.
it's all
absolutely.
just like
You could
I
even come on our podcast, Greg. You've done more work than anyone else for
Really?
us. Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
God, really?
Yeah.
no,
So you
you
guys
can
do a podcast too. That's crazy. Wow, I love that.
it's yeah, and it's all just like tens of followers, so don't get it
Yeah.
twisted. But
No, but
um,
I mean, who cares about that? That's really cool. I love that.
yeah, yeah, it's
It's
all
just
like,
fun.
but yeah, that lateral growth, like Brent's talking about, I think it's just
Hmm.
good to get into the community, and we just gotta trust that eventually that'll all like snowball and it'll take off, and then
Right.
we'll be able to kind of move from there. Um,
Yeah.
but it's tough because yeah, either you do publishers, self-publishing, or you approach publishers, and either
Hmm.
way, it's kind of like, for lack of a better term, like yeah, the part about this process that I love is like, yeah, this meeting tonight, this is great. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
like the
Yeah.
picking these apart and designing them and talking about like the puzzle of game design is so interesting and so fun to me.
Right.
Um, but then yeah, you have to kind of transition at some point to the more businessy end of things and like selling yourself, which I think
Hmm.
I'm like you, Greg, where
Hmm.
um, that's like antithetical to my personality. I
Right.
don't
It
feel
does
like anyone
feel,
really cares about what I have to say, and I know that's not true, but like that's just my internal feeling. I'm like, why would anybody care? So it's like it's hard to obviously get over that. I don't know if insecurity or whatever. I'm not trying to sob story here, but it's just
right. No, well,
you know
no,
what I'm saying.
yeah, I empathize completely. I share that
Yeah,
that mindset totally. I went to one. So Protospiels is one that I'm familiar with, and then there's one. Do you know who Jamie
yeah,
Stegmaier is?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Stonemeyer Games. Yeah, So I used to live near St. Louis, and he's based out of St. Louis.
Yep.
And every year he does uh, a gathering of people locally there, and people come from all over the country and bring their games. And what's nice is that he actually walks around and looks at them too.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, the one year I did it was COVID, and so they had to cancel the in
Oh,
person. I did it online, and
Mm.
so I did my whole pitch. What's really cool though is that like there I was, it's my first game, and I'm actually giving like a pitch overview to not only everybody who's attending, but also Jamie Stegmaier, the guy
He
who's running
seems like
like
the
for the
coolest
digital.
guy ever.
He is.
I would
Yeah.
love to have a lunch with
Mhm.
him one day, you know?
Yes,
that'd be
yes.
so
It was
cool.
just it was just really cool that like this is a guy who is actually running like a successful thing and he's actually looking at my game. So it felt very like kind of affirming that like, okay, I'm actually doing something here of value that's and I'm moving forward or something
Yeah.
like that, you know.
Well, I've got to say that every time anybody looks at, like, we brought it to this game to some friends, we've
Mm,
had some playtesting, gotten some like just like survey results back from them, but then like playing it with you as well, all of that is just, it's kind of stupid to say because we're all just like, I mean we're kind of just friends here, and it's just
right.
like nobody's like a major celebrity or anything like Jamie
Hmm.
Stegmaier, but
Right.
it's all super affirming. Like seeing anybody, Brent was saying it earlier, like take interest in something that you created is just
Hmm.
so, like it's just so good. I don't know. There's no other
It's
way
so
to.
important too. I feel like
Yeah.
it's too easy to drop it if you don't get outside eyes on your project at
For sure.
critical
Yeah,
points.
some of that external motivation kind of.
Right. I feel like personally, maybe it's like a personal thing, but I feel like I need that at certain. It's like, okay, if I don't get some outside input at this, like I just feel like it's kind of a black hole of my own efforts just going to nothing, So I need to, make sure that I'm not just driving myself nuts investing time or energy into an idea that people are just going to find crazy or unintuitive or whatever. Like I kind of need that affirmation. I think that there's something of value here that I'm pursuing. I think is really important.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
All
good
right. Well,
stuff.
I
Yeah.
think this
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah,
Seriously, I
this was
can't say it
this was
enough.
really fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. This is cool, and I learned so much about your vision. Like well, I guess I understand your vision, but I understand better how your mechanics feed into your vision now. I
Wait, what
think
is
that's kind
this?
of where I'm at.